This next question comes from Alyssa, and Alyssa says, what is the best method for me to market my services since going to communities in person is hardly an option right now? For background, right now, if you're watching this video, it's 2020 and we are in a pandemic with the COVID virus and people are not opening up their stores. So she's wondering how to navigate that. I have a consulting business to prepare clients' life documents. My original plan was to market myself at homeowners association communities, assisted living and nursing homes. Due to COVID, I had to reevaluate that idea, so I did. I made tons of cold calls to many of those above mentioned places. I've had a lot of great feedback on the phone, but in the beginning it seems people never quite understand what my business entails. Many of them love my idea, and if they couldn't meet with me, they told me to email them the info. I did just that, and I follow up with them, and nothing. The other one, I actually did meet with in person, and they all said they would spread my info through their communities. The other communities I've left voicemails for and never got responses. Because my business is sensitive and unique, I don't feel like cold calling is working for me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I have had this business since May and still haven't gotten my first client. I also feel that if I walk into places to market myself right now, I will get denied due to the virus. With that being said, I would much rather be face-to-face with people. Okay, you know, Alyssa, I get this, and I see this a lot. Our friends and people that we meet will be like, oh, wow, your business sounds phenomenal. What a great idea. And then they'll never buy from you. They're just being nice to you. The proof, when somebody believes in your product or service, they sign up as a client. That's just the pure truth. Our friends, strangers, anybody you meet, people just generally want to support other people and be nice. You'll know if they truly believe in it, if they'll become a client. So if people are saying, what a great idea, send me some information, and then they never follow up, you have your answer. They don't really believe in it. Because if they believed in it, when people want something, they find a way to get it. So it could be a couple things. It could be that your pitch and your sales process needs work, and I'm guessing it does. And the second is maybe your idea just has not been substantiated as a idea that people are going to be willing to purchase on a mass scale. And that's what we as business owners, when we go into any type of new business, that's the risk we take. We say to ourselves, I think this is a great idea. I'm going to go ahead and start this. And that's why a lot of businesses fail. Because it's not necessarily whether or not we think something is a great idea. We have to determine, is there a market need out there for the product or service that we are offering? And here's the thing. There's two types of things that this goes into play. The first is, are you creating a new product or service category? Are you creating the need? Which means nothing, what you do doesn't exist in the marketplace, which means nobody even understands it because it's never been around, right? So there's an educational component to your sales process that has to educate people on even what you do and why it's important. That's much more expensive than selling some AirPods. People know what this is. Apple's done millions and millions of dollars of advertising. Pretty simple. Do you want this? Do you need it? This is how much it costs? Easy. I don't have to educate people on what this does, right? But if I have to educate people on what my product or service does, that's a longer sales cycle, and which means it costs more money because it takes more time. And that's okay. It just, you have to know that going in, that there's an educational component to the sales process. So that has to be, that there's a way to develop your sales pitch to educate people on what you do and why it's important for them. And then they're going to determine whether it's important. And after you talk to enough people, they'll determine whether or not they think it's important, and you'll know whether they do or not, because they'll either become a client or they won't. The other thing is are we meeting a market need? So if people were out there doing Google searches and people were out there submitting inquiries to insurance agents and attorneys and CPAs of, is there any type of software or any type of service that you know of that I can compile all of my stuff into one easy notebook and so forth and so on? If there was enough market demand out there, somebody would put together a solution and fill that need. And so that's what I would try to ascertain is take a look at your ideal customer. Who are they going to when they need to do what you're doing? Most people, when they're talking about what's going to happen to them when they die, which most people hate to even deal with that. When I sold insurance, man, people hated talking about death and what would happen after they died. It is so difficult. And even though it's important, they just don't want to deal with it. Like, that's why insurance, even though it's one of the most amazing things on the face of the planet, people hate dealing with insurance and insurance agents for life insurance just because they just hate thinking about it. And so most people will go to their insurance agent to get insurance. So there's a good place. And they'll go to their attorneys because their attorneys are going to be the ones that are going to put together their wills and their and different documents that they need. So those are the places that I would look to go to. Now, as it relates to the homeowners communities and assisted living communities, it's not enough in my experience. It never produced any results to me if I went to a community and said, can I drop off some pamphlets? That never worked for me in any way, shape, or form. And I don't know anybody that's ever worked for. What works is going in and saying, hey, can I do a virtual presentation, a Zoom, for your community, and you come out there and you promote this free webinar that I'm going to do where I'm going to talk about the importance of having your documents and, putting together some sort of educational thing. And at the end of your educational webinar, there's a call to action that says, if you need help with any of this, I've created my final best wishes and you can contact me and I can help you. But I think that, to sum this up, I think there's a bit of your sales presentation needs a lot of work. And I still think that you're a little bit in the market research part of the journey of your business, just determining that there's truly a need that people are going to want to pay for. And what is the sales process? How long is it going to take? What needs to be included in the sales process in order to get someone to buy from you? And ultimately, they're going to tell you how much they're willing to pay for it. Okay? I hope that helps. I know that you and I talked on the phone about this. I think that you would do really well hiring Tom for at least committing to it for about 3 months and working with him. I think he would help you at least get to a point where you'd be able to determine whether or not you have, a good business model or not. All right. I hope that helps. Thanks.